So we are going to test the microphone sound. Can you tell me how does it sound? Um, yeah, yes. It seems like it sounds alright. This is an improvised video. Supposedly, I was going to do this live video tomorrow, but I don't have time tomorrow, and I'm being very busy these days. So I decided with one day before. So it was scheduled for tomorrow, but it's not happening tomorrow. So I decided to do it today. Anyway, today we are going to talk about buying a truck. What is the worst of the worst trucks you can buy? There is many. I think that is not an actual uh, good truck in general. Doesn't matter what truck you buy, you're still gonna buy problems. But still, there is trucks that are better than others, and um, and that's what we're gonna focus on. Which truck will be the worst to buy, so you can buy the better truck. Uh, and I think there are some trucks that are pretty obvious. Then we don't need to mention. And sometimes it is not just about the truck; it is about the engine you decide to buy, and the transmission, engine combination. Transmission, engine combination, and differentials too. Sometimes they're not the best. How can I say, like setup, and that is the reason why sometimes you have to be careful on what specific type of vehicle you're buying, the specific equipment, and the specific application. So we want to focus on that, and let's see what happens. So we want to answer or see some of the comments right now. We have Chavito Frey say thanks for your time for helping others. Thank you, Chavito. I do what I can. Sometimes I fail, I will say. Sometimes I don't do things the way I'm supposed to do it. Cut corners probably, but I try my best to keep it, aligned the best. We are not perfect, I suppose. Rafael López, hermano, gracias por tus buenas informaciones. Me gustaría mucho más en español. Si tiene alguna pregunta en español, Rafael, usted puede hacerla, no hay ningún problema. Yo hago videos en español todos los domingos, hay videos en español, sábados en inglés, pero los videos en vivo hablo en inglés generalmente porque la mayoría de personas me ven en inglés, pero si ustedes tienen alguna pregunta en español, con gusto puedo hablar en español, no es ningún problema. Poder darles las respuestas en español. Ya sé de que es muy difícil también a veces tener información en español. Silvestre Ruedas say, I have seen and heard so far the 2025 Volvo. Yeah, the new 2025 Volvo is way different than the older. And new chassis means new components. New components mean new problems. Of course, you buy any new, there is nothing to worry about. You have warranty. When you buy used, probably that's going to be different. But so far, there is very, very few 2025 Volvos on the road to, we can say, justify how good or how bad it is. But based on the previous experience, it is about average, I would say, with the 24 signs. I don't think it's going to be a big difference. The major difference, mostly when it comes to newer generation trucks, it is emission-related components and the derates or emergency protocols that these engines use or trucks use, and that changes. That is tighter or a smaller period of time, then something will happen. Something will get into a problem. But that is a totally different setup, and probably we want to mention that probably later. So what is the what manufacturers are doing about these new protocols on these emission control vehicles. And Alex Osorio dice, saludos. Ok, ¿cómo estamos, Alex? Aquí andamos tranquilos, trabajando siempre, muy ocupados. No tuve tiempo de ordenar la oficina un poco, pero aquí estoy. Hay mucho trabajo que hacer. Gracias a Dios, en estos tiempos está muy pesado encontrar trabajo. Bueno, sería la mejor manera, muy difícil encontrar trabajo. Se ha puesto un poco difícil el transporte y creo que muchos están de acuerdo con eso. Las cosas no están alineándose de la manera mejor, la más correcta, pero aquí estamos. Siempre tenemos trabajo, gracias a Dios, y esperemos estar así por el tiempo que sea necesario, dado de que si no hay trabajo, bueno, no hay felicidad. Tenemos que tener trabajo para poder tener el dinero, dado que es la única manera de tener felicidad. Okay, let's. I will start with the truck, then probably. I think, right. This is my opinion. It is not your opinion, so your opinion could be completely different than mine. I might be wrong on your opinion, but my opinion based on what I know. Um, you can take it, you can leave it. I won't be offended or anything. So or you can leave a comment saying your opinion. I have no problems with it. So okay, there is one question, Silvestre Ruedas, truck related question. Do you prefer diesel Thermo Kings APU or carriers when I need my diesel APU in doesn't work? Well, APUs, carriers or Thermo Kings, they're kind of these little engines are pretty reliable, but parts it's kind of like hard to get for those engines, um, and they're expensive. So, but anyway, regardless of the situation, I think Thermo King is more popular, so I will go to Thermo King. Carrier, yes, it is good, but limitation of dealers and all that is kind of like hard. I prefer Thermo King will mostly be one of the most popular sources, and plus is easier to get parts for Thermo King than Carrier. Both are good, and sometimes it's not about the actual engine, which is the APU, Thermo King, or whatever Perkins or other manufacturers that do the engine. It's about units, the AC units, the inverter units. All those units come from different manufacturers, and depending on the brands of these units, that's how good. And also, it depends on how is the setup on your APU system. You can have the APU when with the tri-pack, which I mean, with the batteries, tri-pack or anything, then we'll have the battery oriented APU, and also we'll have the actual APU. Will be the best. And you also can have the solar panels and all that, which is not the best. But the basic APU, I think, will be just the regular APU with no extra batteries. I think will be the best. And also, the APU then is not engine cooled. Like it doesn't use the coolant of the engine. Sometimes it's better, but sometimes not, because sometimes the APU then transfer the coolant, uses the coolant of the engine. The problem is the leaks, and if it leaks, you are broken some here and there, and it's not has nothing to do with the engine. But if it has the internal system, the coolant and everything, it doesn't help you whenever you need to warm up the engine. You can use the APU, and the coolant will be circulated around the engine, so that it won't help you. So, but anyway, everything has its positive and negative reasons why not or why you have to. I think at the end of the day, Thermo King will be the best, and if you have a good unit, a good inverter unit, transformer unit, AC unit, everything will be okay. Okay, let's go back to the actual video. And yeah, Sylvester Brothers, no problem. Any questions, I'll try to answer as soon as I can. Okay. Yes. I don't know. I mean, as I say, I mean, okay, it's just my opinion about which truck is the best and which truck is the worst. I mean, mostly the worst trucks I will be talking about. So The first one on the list, I will be talking about internationals, and not just internationals in general, mostly internationals with Navistar engines. Um, they're the worst, I would say. I don't know why international they keep on doing this truck and it's not very reliable. I think the combination in general will be if you have a Navistar truck, which is an international truck, with a Navistar engine with a Eaton transmission, right? If you have the combination of those three, that's really bad. Um, if you have a Navistar, I mean, a international truck and a Navistar engine with a manual transmission, that would be a little better. But still really bad. I mean, but it's just a tiny bit better. Um, and that's what I'm talking about. Depending on the combinations of setup, the equipment you get on your truck, that's how bad, really bad, it's going to be. But in general, anything Navistar, the engine, Navistar engine isn't the best. Expensive to maintain, not very reliable, hard to work on, and you need subscriptions to have computer access and everything. You can use JPro to do any type of diagnostic on anything, or you can use OTI diagnostic too. OTI diagnostic is capable to do some diagnostics here and there. But when it comes to actual programming or calibrating components like turbo actuators, EGR actuators, setting up an injector, Turing codes, and all those, you need to have the specific software of Navistar, and this will cost you a specific amount of money every year. And if you don't have that, well, I mean, you won't be able to work on it. And the major problem for me, like I am a mechanic, right? And the reason for me to don't really like internationals at some point is because it's hard to work on these trucks, but there is not many trucks on the roads, so I don't see that many internationals. Um, and if I want to spend a lot of money on equipment and softwares and all that, just to see 1, 2 trucks a month, it's not gonna be worth it. So I prefer to go to the basics, right? So if I wanna recommend an international truck, I will say yes, there is a better international truck, right? The better international truck will be the one that comes with a Cummins engine. So you can buy the international chassis with the Cummins X15 or X12, depending on the application you want. And it will be better if you buy it with manual transmission. Will be the most reliable international you can buy. Cummins with manual transmissions. And make sure to avoid any generic differential type. You stick to the Meritor, Eaton, or Spicer differentials, which are the best. When it comes to the actual building house differentials, they're not the best. So just go and do the basic, research about what kind of differentials you have. But anyway, if you have, as I say, if you're planning to buy international Navistar engine and automatic transmission, think twice. If you're planning to buy a Navistar with a manual transmission, a Navistar truck with a Navistar engine with a manual transmission, it's sort of acceptable, but not the best. If you're planning to buy an Cummins engine with a Navistar truck, international truck with an automatic transmission, it is okay. Is the common. But if you buy an international with Cummins and manual transmission, is the best international you can buy. So those are the 4 ways you can buy internationals, right? Which is the worst, but the worst of the worst has the best, which is the manual transmission Cummins. Always, manual transmission is the most reliable transmission you can buy, which is very hard to buy nowadays. It's pretty hard to buy a manual transmission international. Most of them are Eaton Endurance transmissions. But that's my opinion on the worst truck, the most reliable worst truck you can buy. So just keep in mind that if you want, and also if you buy international with Cummins, it's going to be cheaper than KW with Cummins, Peterbilt with Cummins, because international has the the reputation of being not very reliable, so people kind of scared of international, regardless if they have Navistar or Cummins. Uh, I'll say then yes, you can still save some money if you want to buy international with Cummins with manual transmission versus other competitors. Then have the same engine. Okay, so that will be uh, the on my list the most reliable truck. And as I say, even though then it's the most reliable truck, that is the best option you have. Um, there is a best option, even though it's not reliable. The second most, I will be uh, mostly, I will give that to PACCAR, but not the manufacturer, the chassis, mostly the engine. PACCAR engines aren't the best nowadays. Um, I have I heard a lot of people talking about good things about PACCAR engines in the past, especially PACCAR engines 2013, 12, all the way to 2016, something somewhere around that. They were pretty reliable. A lot of people saying, hey, you know what, my PACCAR engine has 1 million miles, no problems. Of course, most of them were deleted, so they hadn't have to deal with emission system. But when it comes to the engine itself, yes, PACCAR engines, the older PACCAR engines were reliable, and that's what PACCAR engine started growing on people. But newer PACCAR engines, 2017 and up, they starting to get problems, early problems, and major catastrophic engine problems. Um, and these engine problems will actually require you to do a full engine overhaul with no warning at all, with low mileage, or simply because of the time of use. Um, so anything PACCAR, I will say 2017 all the way to now still is on experiment. I will say they still trying to know how they can improve the engine, or maybe they don't have the technology. I don't know. There is something wrong with PACCAR. I don't know. They can make the engine very reliable, but for some reason it isn't. So the reason why I'm saying, like, I have seen brand new PACCARs like 2023, 2024, 2020s, sometimes 2019s with 200,000 miles or less than that. And some of these, they have broken cylinder heads or broken cylinder gaskets. Something inside the engine is broken. Um, and local trucks, 2019 trucks, 200,000 miles, they're already leaking compression to the uh, eh, coolant tank. Uh, Brand new truck, 2023, 2024, broken injectors for no reason. All of a sudden, the fuel goes directly to the oil pan because of the injector breaks. And of course, if you don't see that, the whole engine is going to be destroyed because of the fuel. This doesn't have enough lubrication for that. So um, um, PACCAR, the engine, right? And PACCAR is part of the KW and Peterbilt Association. So uh, if you are buying a KW or Peterbilt with a PACCAR engine, just just think twice. I mean, okay, it is. I would say it's still more reliable than Navistar, but it is not more reliable than the other brands. So um, there are some people that are going to buy these engines, these trucks with PACCAR engines because they don't have enough, uh, we can say, credit to buy more expensive trucks. And of course, it's a good offer when you have a 2020 200,000 mile KW or Peterbilt with a PACCAR engine and a Eaton Endurance transmission. Um, or a PACCAR MX XD transmission. I think that's what it is. And you can have this combination, and this truck is going to be 25, 30, 35, 40, 40,000, depending on the location or type of truck, which is like 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 cheaper than the same Peterbilt or Cummins. I mean, Peterbilt or Kangaroo with the Cummins engine. So some people will be like, hey, you know what, this is a good deal. I mean, buying this truck and everything. It might be a good deal if you have some kind of like some plan with the truck. Let's say you buy a PACCAR truck and you planning to use this truck only for 1 year, and then you're gonna discard this truck, and you can just buy it for cheap, and you can make your $40,000 back immediately, and uh, and that will be a, a good deal, right? Because you can make the money. But if you don't have that, I mean, you just paying the payments $3,000, $4,000 a month. That is not going to be something good. And all of the sudden, the engine breaks. Uh, yes, I mean, okay, it's not going to be good. In most of these engines, they might have warranty, dealer warranty, but so many times they don't do cover the warranty. If you take your truck, your PACCAR engine, and all of a sudden the engine breaks, right, for any reason, you take it to the dealer, and dealer doesn't want to cover it, even though it has warranty, but because they haven't touched it, dealers want to do the oil change. Dealer wants to do everything themselves, so that way when the warranty comes, for some reason the engine breaks, they have all the documentation. Oh yeah, we have done all that. But if they don't have any kind of like a documentation, then the engine has been serviced correctly. They want to avoid any type of warranties. But anyway, I mean, like it is just something to then I have been seeing with these trucks lately. But regardless, I would say then you have the PACCAR trucks, right? You have KW and PWs. The worst of the worst you can buy of these is anything that comes with PACCAR. And automatic transmission, of course, right? Automatic, the same thing. I mean, like it's so sad to see W900s with PACCAR engines, which is pretty rare, right? But hey, I mean, like that's not gonna be the most reliable. It has to have Cummins, but just try to avoid anything like that. So if you buy a PACCAR with the automatic transmission, it's going to be the worst of the KW Peterbilt Association. Um, if you buy a PACCAR with a manual transmission, it is okay. I mean, still the engine is bad, but you have the transmission, then it's reliable. At least it's half reliable. Um, and if you buy a Cummins with the Endurance transmission, it is it's a very common truck. It's a good truck. It's reliable enough to say that it's okay. I mean, it still has problems. I mean, Cummins will break it here and there. You can see the video right there. I mean, we're talking about Cummins blow by and all that. I mean, it's going to happen, right? But it's not like something that's just going to happen all of the sudden. I mean, it's like 600, 800, 900,000 miles, depending. I mean, kind of normal for trucks. I mean, in the past used to be 2 millions, right? But now it's like a 1 million for a truck. So if you buy a Cummins with a manual transmission on a PACCAR or a Peterbilt, I mean on a Kangaroo or a Peterbilt, that would be the best purchase you can do, regardless of what you buy. You can buy a T680, you can buy W900, or the versions in Peterbilt, which 579, 387, 389. I think that's the other numbers. So anything you buy with Cummins and manual transmission on the PACCAR Association, which can go on Peterbilt, is going to be the most reliable you can buy. And anything that you buy that doesn't have PACCAR differentials is more reliable, even more reliable. So PACCAR differentials are really bad. They are not the most reliable. So try to avoid any PACCAR differential. And how you know then they're PACCAR differentials? They say on the back PACCAR, big stamp that says PACCAR. And the differentials are not shaped in the normal way. Usually a differential shaped round. These differentials are kind of like oval differentials. So you can see the shape of the differential looks a little different. So regardless if you buy PACCAR engine or Cummins engine, manual transmission or automatic transmission, try to avoid PACCAR differentials. They break very easy, and there is no warning. So I don't know. I mean, these differentials weren't reliable. So just that's another point to avoid. So if you buy anything that has a Cummins with a manual transmission, without PACCAR differentials, you can buy Spicer, Eaton, or Meritor differentials on your KW or Peterbilt. You want to have the most reliable Peterbilt or PACCAR then you can buy. That's the most reliable one. And also big differentials, right? If you have a 342s, we can say still like 285 or something like that, that's okay. That's like but if you have a small differential like 207, 208, 210, whatever differential, whatever number that could be, it's not going to be the most. I mean, try to get bigger differentials to have bigger more power. Maybe you don't have speed, that much speed, like small differential, but you don't have a more reliable truck because you are going to have more power going uphill. So that's going to refresh the truck. You want to have a lower temperatures on the engine and lower temperatures on the transmission. So that's going to help to maintain your truck to last longer period of time. So that's the reason why it's always good to look for bigger differentials. That way you can maintain the powertrain in a lower temperature production. That will help you in the long run. Might not be the case in 100,000 miles, but it might be the case in 1 million miles. You can see the difference. And the fuel economy probably is going to be a little better with smaller differentials, but with bigger differentials it's not going to be the best. Maybe you're losing like maybe a couple points, like maybe 0.5, 0.6, depending on the size of the engine too. But it's going to be a a good purchase if you buy anything with bigger differentials. Avoid PACCAR differentials, just buy Meritor, manual transmission, and Cummins engine, Peterbilt Cummins, and if you can buy it, even better. If you can buy any truck with the front radar, the front collision radar in front, that's better because that thing goes bad pretty easy and it's very expensive. $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 just to replace a front sensor in the bumper. That is not even that's 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 I don't know why they're doing that. I mean, yeah, I know why they're doing that. That's an emergency, like something like the traffic stops, the truck's gonna stop for you. But I don't know why they're putting that component in front, uncovered, and it is very expensive to replace. Um, just try to avoid that. If you can buy a truck without that front sensor, it's going to be a more reliable truck. You're gonna have the most experience driving. Maybe it's not gonna be the safest because you're losing the auto braking feature, but if you are a good driver, you might be able to avoid so many accidents just because you are a good driver, right? Um, so that would be for Kenworth and Peterbilt. And this is the second. And Kenworth and Peterbilt, they're not there because of the Cummins engine. Just they're there because of the PACCAR engine. But as I say, I mean, even though the PACCAR engine is bad, you can buy a really reliable truck if you buy the Cummins and the manual transmission and avoid the differentials and that. So just the combination of everything makes a truck reliable. It is not just the combination of the engine and transmission. All the other components are part of the reliability of the truck. So it's not just two things. Then we'll move to the next one, which is the middle one. Then I think that one, mostly when it comes to this one, which is Volvo, right? It is not the truck thing is bad. It's reliable, but it is just too expensive to maintain. So Volvo is a manufacturer, and Volvo is pretty rare to buy it with manual transmission. Volvo is just we can say a brand then does everything indoors. So they do their own truck, they'll do their own engine, they do their own transmission, and I think they are doing the differentials already. So they have everything indoors, so that's good. But older Volvos, they were very reliable. Older Volvos, they were extremely reliable, no engine problems. But the newer Volvos are starting to see some, reliability problems, and it's not because the new Volvos are, bad. It is just because business, right? They're making money and they want to make more money. So how are they gonna make more money? Making trucks don't last that long. So Volvos, they're reliable enough to call them a very good truck, but they're not friendly when it comes to your pocket. Um, I have people that have Volvos and they don't want to invest money on these Volvos. They want them to break um, until they can use them, and they still running with no problems. The only reason why they don't want to invest on these trucks because they're expensive to maintain. But even though then they don't have the repairs, they still running. So they're good. I mean, they're reliable, but making them too expensive to repair, that's the problem. Um, and of course, everything is the same way. I mean, like you're gonna buy an EGR cooler, right? Let's say on a Volvo, you spend $3,000 just for the EGR cooler. And if you don't have an account, you don't have a Volvo account, it's gonna be probably like $500, $600 more expensive. You wanna buy the injectors, you're gonna spend around $8,000 on injectors. You wanna buy a fuel pump, you're gonna spend. Well, the fuel pump, these ones are not expensive because the fuel pumps just a very basic pump. The pumps are injectors, that's the reason why they're expensive. Um, Water pumps, $900, kind of expensive too, and the list goes on. I mean, that is just expensive. I mean, I would say then there is nothing wrong with Volvos. It is just the cost to maintain the Volvos. It is just that, and also whenever you break on the road, probably you won't be able to get uh, uh, the enough help. You know, people then will help you. Road servicing will help you with open hands because as PACCAR and Peterbilt, I mean PACCAR and International, they require the specific software. If you don't have it, you won't be able to do much. You can use JPro. JPro is capable to do so many things with Volvo, but still has limitations. So whenever you have a major problem, I mean, you won't be able to do much. Um, and that will be pretty much when it comes to Volvo. Um, I don't have much to say about Volvo because I know how Volvos are and I know that they're reliable enough. It is mostly about the cost to maintain them. So if you are okay spending the money to maintain the Volvos, it's fine. I mean, like I know that they're reliable enough to call them reliable, but you are spending a lot of money to maintain it anyway. So it's kind of the same maintaining a not reliable truck. You're gonna spend a lot of money. So um, but it's up to you. I mean, with Volvo, I don't have an option. I don't have a how to because Volvo is pretty hermetic company. They don't want to have different options. So they only have Volvo engine, Volvo transmission, and that's it. It's very rare to see a Volvo with a Cummins engine. Very rare. For some reason, they don't want to. Because they want to sell everything indoors, so all the money goes to the company, and whenever you sell the truck, comes back to the company. So I think it makes sense what they're doing, but still, like I think that they gotta be a little more flexible because there is a lot of people that likes the Volvo chassis, but they don't like the Volvo truck. I mean, the Volvo engine, and they don't like the Volvo transmission. So a lot of people would like to have a Cummins engine on the Volvo with a manual transmission, right? Um, and other type of differentials, right? In those combinations, I mean, it's kind of like hard to get them on a Volvo. So because these trucks are not mostly trucks for drivers. They are mostly trucks for fleets. Like, okay, we're gonna have these trucks, and you wanna put a driver, whoever driver is completely different than Peterbilt and Kenworth. These Peterbilt and Kenworth are truck for drivers, right? Owner operators, right? They have many options, and you can have this and that, blah, blah, blah. So owner operators can be very pleased with the trucks, with the setup of the truck. So yeah, that's pretty much all I think I can say about Volvos. Um, and then I'll move up to the next one. Um, to the next. Uh, that will be now going to the reliable part, which isn't reliable enough. I would say they all have problems, but it's the most reliable part. Um, I would say. Uh, well, I have. Volvo, KW, yeah, it will be Freightliner will be the most reliable. Not the most reliable, I would say, because reliable is not reliable enough to say it doesn't have problems, right? But it will be the most reliable to the point that it is a truck that does the job, and it is not extremely expensive, and it is easy to repair, right? Um, it's the most common one. You can find parts, junkyards, and everything. You can go online, eBay, and buy a lot of parts on it, and there's no expensive. Um, Most of the parts are pretty easy to repair, to replace, and some of the parts are not. Electronic problems are a big issue for Freightliner. Freightliner, they're not the best when it comes to electronics. Um, and Freightliners also, they're not the best when it comes to emission problems. Um, but they're reliable enough to drive for 600, 700,000 miles without problems. Um, in some cases, you might encounter early problems, um, uh, oil pump problems, or DPF problems, fuel pump problems, injector problems. It can happen. It will be like something that will cost some money if it breaks on the road. But most of these trucks, they usually get to have around like 700,000 miles before they start having major problems, especially emission problems. Most of these Freightliner, they last around 600,000, 700,000 when they start having one box problems. um, most of them and then clutch problems too. You have automatic transmission. If you have manual transmission, will be more reliable than the automatic, and less expensive. Your automatic transmission is going to cost a lot of money on the transmission systems. I mean, like you can spend like $6,000, $7,000 just on a clutch job, and so that's when it comes to manual transmission. So you can spend probably like $3,000, $4,000, and you can do a full job. Um, so yeah, so I think uh, Freightliner are just a bunch of uh, fragile trucks. I mean, they break pretty easy. I will say they're not the most comfortable trucks. They're not the most nice looking trucks, but they do the job. I mean, they're not expensive. You have a lot of aftermarket support for Freightliner. You can buy headlights for $200, $100, $80, depending on the brand, right? I mean, if you wanna buy a brand new one, who cares if it's good or not, right? You're buying a brand new one for $80, right? You cannot do with other brands. You can buy a whole engine. Let's say if you have a broken engine, you can buy a whole engine for $10,000, right? A transmission 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. Of course, if it's new, you can buy it for $22,000, $23,000, which is a lot of money. But the reason why it is the most reliable is because there's a lot of competition, and you can have um, a lot of people giving you deals with the parts, right? You can make money here, you can make money there. Uh, it's pretty hard. I have seen like the cases when in the dealers, right? They have the people own dealers, and these people owning this dealer, they will have a Peterbilt, they will have a Kangor, they will have a Volvo, they will have an International, and they will have a Freightliner. The Freightliner is the first one, then goes away. Like someone will buy the Freightliner almost immediately, especially if it's a Freightliner thing is special, right? DD13, DD15 engine, 13 speed manual transmission, 342 differentials, full sleeper, LED headlights, no radar on the front, no collision warning system, and also if it doesn't have uh, the differentials are not Alliance or Detroit; they're Meritor, right? So that's gonna be a very reliable Freightliner. So if that's the case, that Freightliner is gonna fly out of the lot. But then you wanna have the Kangor and Peterbilts. Those are going to be the second ones. Then people will buy, especially if they have the Cummins engine with manual transmissions, right? People will jump on those pretty fast. If they have automatic transmission, yes, people will jump because we need a driver for that, or simply I don't know how to drive manual transmission. they still will go after the Cummins and Peterbilt. I mean the Kenworth and Peterbilt. I say then Kenworth will be the freeze and then Peterbilt, because Peterbilt is a little more expensive than Kenworth, and a lot of people are not uh, friendly with Kenworth, and Kenworth is more popular than Peterbilt. So Kenworth is the second most popular truck after Freightliner. So and then after those are gone, then will be Volvo, the one that is there, and people will buy Volvo. Okay, yeah, Volvo, yes. I mean, okay, I know it's pretty good truck. Like, you gotta be someone that likes Volvo. Someone will buy a Volvo. Someone that likes Volvo. That's it. So people will just go buy the Volvo and that's it. And the last one to be sold is the International. International will be the last one. Because people don't like internationals for some reason, right? They're cheap. They will be cheaper. I mean, the most expensive ones are going to be the Kenworth and the Freightliner and also the Peterbilts. Volvos are going to be next, and the Navistar, the International, is going to be the lowest price ever, and still people won't buy them because the reputation of Navistar International is really bad. So in general, I would say like that's the list based on what I think. I mean, like it's not exactly what it is. I mean, it's just what I think, depending on the circumstances. Depending on what I see, people complaining about this, like trucks coming, right? I see trucks that have problems, and of course, I see mostly Freightliners. I see Freightliners every day, and I have like 15 Freightliners probably in 1 week, and but we have millions of Freightliners on the road. So I mean, it's common. It's pretty normal to see at least 10 a month, right? There is millions of these trucks. So that's why I mean, like I would say, like yes, I mean, like I see some Freightliners having problems here and there, but yeah, 1 million miles, some Freightliners having issues. Okay, that's okay. Engine problems, 600, 700,000 miles emission problems for the Freightliner, just okay. So that's very common. And like and kind of the same with the Kingos and the Peterbilts. Some Peterbilts are 1 million miles, no overhauls on the engines. With the Cummins engines, and when it comes to the emission system, yes, I mean sometimes it's 800, 600,000 miles. You have to replace the DPF or the DOCs, depending. And the SCR probably 1 million miles. The SCR on the Cummins is a little more reliable than the Detroits. The Detroits don't last that long. I think the material they use for some reason. But just keep in mind that most of the emission components that are on the market are Cummins parents emission systems. So Detroit uses DEF pumps, then are Cummins. Detroit uses DEF injectors, then are Cummins. And also the technology on the O2 sensors, the NOx sensor is kind of the same as the Cummins. The soot sensor too, same as Cummins. The difference is then they use different kind of protocols so you can communicate with the computers. And different type of modules for these sensors. So it's kind of like Cummins has a lot of the technology when it comes to the SCR systems and the emission systems, but each manufacturer have their own component. The SCR, DOC, DPF, they all have their own component, and that's the reason why some components are more reliable than others. Like Detroit doesn't have the best reliability when it comes to the emission system. Cummins, with a Cummins engine, has some sort of reliability, has better reliability. These emission components especially the SCR lasts longer than the DPF. The DPS might have problems, but the SCR is still working fine. Uh, and the same thing was with the brand PACCAR, right? Might have some problems too, and goes on. So I would say like um, depending on the brand, that's how the kind of problems. But yes, the worst trucks you can buy in general in resume, if you just want to hear that, like a PACCAR trucks, right? But PACCAR engine and Navistar engines, those are the most unreliable trucks. And it is not the chassis, it is the engine. So that you have to keep in mind. I mean, like, it is not the truck, the one is not reliable. It is the engine. So engine and transmission and differential combination makes a really bad truck. So if you have as I said before, if you have a Navistar chassis, which is international, and you have a Navistar engine with a Navistar transmission, which is Eaton as well, and then you have the Navistar differential, really bad combination. So, and the same thing goes with PACCAR. I mean, PACCAR engine, PACCAR transmission, PACCAR differentials, uh, the worst of the worst. But if you choose to have Cummins engines, Detroit engines, even Volvo, right? Volvo engines, they're 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 the most reliable trucks you can buy. Depending on the combination you get, depending on the setup you get, you're gonna have more reliable truck. As I said before, so basically the reliability of the truck or the really worst truck, it is on the options you select, right? It is uh, it is just whatever truck you buy, and the equipment of this truck wanna make that truck unreliable. So it is your duty as a buyer of these trucks to understand what are the components that you need to have on your truck to make it reliable. Because remember, I mean, like there is a million trucks for sale in the whole 48 states, right? And then you buy the most unreliable truck. I mean, just do your homework, right? See, I have a friend that bought a KW W900 with 18 speed transmissions. Very reliable truck. It has problems, yeah. I mean, like I would say, it's not like we don't live in the world and trucks are 1 million miles, zero problems. No, I mean, like it has problems. There's no way you're gonna buy a truck no more with zero problems 1 million miles. No more. That doesn't exist anymore. Uh, but it is reliable enough to say that, hey, this truck has been good. I have a friend and bought a Coronado, 22 Coronado, manual transmission, 18 transmission, DD15 engine, reliable truck, very good truck. And even I have a friend and bought a Cascadia, right? A conventional Cascadia, DD15 engine, but with a 18 speed transmission and Meritor differentials. Truck zero problems, right? He's running fine. I mean, yeah, we did the old pumps, bearings, and all that, regular checkups and these trucks need to have. Um, but it has been pretty good. I mean, so as I say, I mean, like, it's just the setup, the combination of everything you get. That is how the reliability of the truck is going to be. Yes, I mean, international is going to be the worst. Freightliner is going to be one of the best, along with KW and Volvo, and that is going to you're gonna be the separation of everything. But even though then you can buy an international, you can still buy a reliable international, and I think that's something that a lot of people need to understand. And it is not about the truck; it is about the engine and the equipment that this one has, the application that was meant for. So just double check on that, and probably you will be able to buy a reliable truck that won't have that much problems, and you will be able to run 1 million miles, or at least the closest to the 1 million miles, 800,000, 900,000, probably without doing an engine. Maybe doing a clutch here and there, maybe replacing an injector, maybe fuel pump. You will have to replace, probably replacing the differential fluids, the transmission fluids, maybe motor mounts as well. It's a bunch of stuff that we need to replace on these things, regardless, right? Even though they're reliable, right? But these things are not because the truck is broken. There are things they need to, wear and tear. I mean, something that needs to be replaced eventually, regardless of the user or the time. I mean, eventually the clutch is gonna go bad. Eventually the differential fluids, differential transmission fluids, engine, coolant, radiators, right? They're gonna break eventually. AC condenser, AC compressors, they're gonna break eventually. So that's completely normal, and that's regardless of the engine you have. You can have a PACCAR or you can have a Cummins, Detroit, Volvo, and it's gonna break eventually. But when it comes to long hauling, when you're driving or local, the hours of labor that these trucks they're doing, if you have a very unreliable truck, this is not going to keep up with the investment that you just put on. So So that's right. I'm saying, like, just select the proper application, the proper engine, the proper transmission, proper differentials. Um, Understand, and they're all not the same. So you can have automatic transmissions, but the automatic transmissions, they're not the same. They have many different automatic transmissions. You can have override automatic transmissions, direct drive automatic transmission. You can have an 18-speed automatic transmission. So they're all different. So you have to do your homework on which one is going to be. Of course, then remember, then the most reliable ones are always going to be the manuals, right? Always going to be the basics. Any truck that doesn't have that much electronics is going to be the most reliable, right? Western Stars, right? Classic looking trucks, they're the most reliable. They don't have that many electronics, right? Coronados, they don't have that many electronics. W900s, they don't have that many electronics. They're basic trucks. I mean, like Peterbilt's classic looking trucks. I mean, they don't have that many electronics. But they are dying little by little because people don't buy them, and plus the fuel economy on these trucks is really bad. So that's why these non-electronic oriented trucks are not keeping up with the new era we're living in. A lot of people wants to drive easy, right? A lot of people wants to have their feet over the dashboard driving, meanwhile the texting, which is bad. I mean, like that's the reason why there's many laws. People they're getting pulled over because they're not paying attention to the road because the truck will be doing kind of like most of the driving for them on a straight line. And that's pretty good, I would say, because you don't have to be 24/7 holding the steering wheel and see if there is something from the road. But it's really bad because you are not doing your duty as a driver, and so you're supposed to be a driver, right? You don't, if you wanna if you want we can say if you want the truck to drive itself, you can be on the back and have a team driver in the front driving, and truck will be driving, and you won't have to worry about, right? But thanks to the technology, a lot of people is capable to do all that. But technology is making these trucks very unreliable, regardless of the brand, regardless of the manufacturer, regardless of the engine, regardless of the transmission, regardless of what it is. Technology it is the worst factor for reliability of trucks. So the more you stay away from components, electronic components on your truck, the more reliable this is going to be. So in general, I will summarize the electronics that you don't want on your truck, right? Regardless if you wanna buy a Freightliner, regardless if you wanna buy a Volvo, regardless if you wanna buy an International or anything else, regardless of that, right? The less electronics, right? As I say, the front collision radar in front, the sensor in front of the bumper. Avoid that. That's not need. That's something that you don't need. I mean, just pay attention to the road, right? Of course, maybe you're gonna be sleeping sometimes, and you might use that feature here and there. But a lot of people complains about that feature because you be driving on cruise control all of the sudden, and people goes in front of you, and they are not brake checking you. They're just going a lower speed, and the truck will automatically brake. And why? I mean, sometimes you don't need that. You can just lower the speed, but the truck will actually allow space between that, and that's the reason why it'll brake. So that's something that you don't need. And plus, if you like happen to have an accident there is $3,000 just right there, just in that sensor. So it's not something that you don't need, right? Um, Avoid anything, right? Anything that has to be with automatic driving, like the side collision, the lane keeping assist. That's not needed. That's something that you don't need. The front camera in front, so that's not needed as well. And that's just gonna cost more money, and also is gonna give you more electronic problems, right? Uh, uh, Automatic transmissions, well, I mean, that's something that you need to avoid as much you can. If you cannot avoid them because you cannot drive manual transmissions, well, I mean, there's nothing I can say. But if you are able to avoid automatic transmissions, you're gonna save so much money. Automatic transmissions are expensive to maintain, and they are expensive if you need to replace them. So that's something then I don't know what to say. I think that's a very questionable one. I mean, there is 50-50, I would say. I mean, like this you cannot avoid it because a lot of people don't know how to drive manuals, and I mean, and it's pretty hard to buy manuals. I mean, it's not like you can just gonna go to the dealer and buy a manual, right? So, I mean, if you are able to, perfect. If you don't, um, it is what it is. Um, avoid anything electronic that is extra, like dashboards and are digital. Avoid those. Anything that is digital in your truck, avoid that. That's not gonna last long. And if it breaks for any reason, you're driving and the coffee splits all over the place. Uh, if it spills all over the place. I mean, like how you gonna? It's gonna cost you like $10,000 to replace a dashboard. That's not gonna be worth it, to be honest. Um, just something like that is going to cost a lot of money. So that's the reason why it's like, the less electronics you get, the more reliable truck you're gonna have. So of course, if you buy a Tesla truck, right, with a lot of electronics, I don't think that's going to be the most reliable truck because you have electronics, right, all over, and just the truck is just the truck itself is electronic. So it's not a truck to last. It's a truck to save money as long as it is running, right? When it breaks, well, I mean, you won't be able to save money. But that's pretty much my point. I mean, like it is not about the truck in most cases, right? It is about the components of the truck, right? Engine, electronics, transmissions, differentials, and other situations are going to make this truck very unreliable. Uh, yeah, of course, then international is going to be very unreliable, and if you have the combination of all these components, it's going to be the worst of the worst. But and the same thing goes for Freightliner, right? If you have a Freightliner with all these components, it's going to be the most unreliable truck. But if you have the right combination of equipment, you're gonna have a very reliable truck. So buy whatever it is the best for you, but also buy it knowing then you can buy something that is reliable depending on the components, right? And if you are already set to buy a truck, and the reason is because you don't get approved for a more expensive truck, or simply there is you need a truck with PTO and this is the only one then that sells with PTO. I mean, that's okay. I mean, like, what I want to say, I mean, if you have no option, that you don't have no option, right? But if you are able to get the option, just try to avoid it. So, and that will actually save a lot of money on the long run. 1 million miles, you will be saving a lot of money, and also will be something good, less stress, less, you want to be a little more stress free. It's going to be good in general, right? There's many positive things about it, about buying a truck with the right components. All right, let me see some of the comments here. I have some comments. So let's see. Maximiliano Aleman, thank you. Maximiliano Aleman, beautiful engine DT15. Yes, it works, right? Pretty good. Ariel Melendres. At how many miles do you recommend to do an overhaul to the 2015 Freightliner? Most of these, they go all the way to 900, 800, 900, a million. But the thing is, like, sometimes the cylinder liner breaks. So when that's the case, you need to do the whole overhaul. But I think if you haven't had any problems with it, 900, 1 million will be the time that you have to think about it, because if the cylinder liners, they're still okay, it is just a matter of time for them to break. So just think about it if you have 900,000 miles and you haven't had any major problems with it. And also, the cylinder heads can go around like 700,000 miles. So if you get to have like 900,000 miles, yeah, it's time to do the overhaul. Arch, I don't know how to pronounce it. Arch Warish. I think, I don't know if I'm pronouncing correctly. Okay, I'm sorry. Hi, bro. I have an issue with the X15 565 HP 18 speed. 191,000 miles. My exhaust manifold leaks 3 times. They fixed it on the warranty, replaced the gasket, and now the 4th time it leaks. I'm still on the one day. But how it leaks? That would be a good question. I mean, like, please help me. Why is happening? Thanks. That would be the good question. How what leaks? The gasket breaks, or the EGR two, the seal leaks from there, or the bolts breaks, or the turbo, leaks. From where it breaks, that would be the location. Knowing the location from where it breaks, I might be able to understand a little better and get you the best uh, answer for that. Because yes, I have seen that with Cummins, but it depends on the location, depends on the problem, how you can solve it. But yeah, the most common places where Cummins X15 leaks are for the EGR and the X manifold junction. There is some carbon seals. Then they're not really, really good. So they don't seal pretty well, and it's pretty normal for them to leak from there. So I would like to know if that's the case. So let's say Ernesto CH, say, ¿dónde está el shop? 8215 Beach Avenue, Fontana, California. 92335. Sí, sí, Fleet Services lo pueden buscar en Google. Pongan mi número, mi nombre, y ahí está la información. Ernesto CH, Freightliner is the Honda Civic of the truck world. Yes, exactly. There's a bunch of trucks everywhere. There's a bunch of Freightliners everywhere. So, I mean, when you are driving over the highway, 40, 10, or 15, depending on where you're going, most of the trucks are going to the Freightliner. And that's pretty common. So, Alpha, Francisco, I learned a lot from you. Keep it up. You are so humble. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. Try to keep myself, together. I uh, I wasn't, the best before, and still I am not the best. I'm trying to improve myself every time. And I think if you think you're the best, probably you're gonna fail. So you need to understand, and you can improve yourself. You can make yourself better every day. So just trying to keep it up. Trying to keep everything together. Continuing understanding, and I fail too. And based on these fails, and I can improve myself to make it better. And that's the reason I understand, and I make mistakes. I mean, like, just this week, probably I did like 2 or 3 mistakes already. I think that's uh, how it was, right? I mean, how I can uh, how I can deny when I do a mistake, right? Probably it is even worse when I deny it and I know that I did. So I don't do anything. I just make it worse. So I take, whatever responsibility I need to do, and if I cannot cover everything or something one way, I will cover it the other way, and that's how we can keep it up. Making things happen, keeping clients happy, even though they might not be happy, but trying to, do the best possible. Let's see. Enrique Ramírez, buenas tardes, Francisco. Te hablo desde Ciudad de México. ¿La Ciudad de México? De Tijuana siempre veo tus videos. Una pregunta, ¿dónde puedo conseguir los diagramas de armado de motores Cummins, ISX y PACCAR? Y esos están bien complicados. Los diagramas se tiene que uno suscribir a lo que es programas en internet, ya sea el programa original de Cummins y PACCAR, o pueden suscribirse a lo que es Heavy Duty de Mitchell o Hines. I think Hines, that's what it's pronounced. No hay otra manera. Casi todos los diagramas que estaban en internet ahí volando los han quitado por derechos de autor, derechos de copia que no deben circular en internet. Y eso hace muy difícil encontrar estos diagramas. Yo personalmente casi no tengo muchos de esos diagramas, um, porque cuestan dinero, ¿verdad? Hay que gastar dinero para poderlos encontrar. Pero igual, de cualquier manera, siempre en Google siempre se puede encontrar información. Lo único que tienen que hacer es buscar Mitchell, sí, Mitchell, Tough Trucking Life, ya sé, Mitchell, ya. Mitchell es uno de los mejores que hay para eso. Pero cuesta dinero, ¿verdad? Y creo que nadie quiere gastar dinero, porque pues si ustedes quieren ser mecánicos, si yo quiero ser mecánico, no voy a poder cobrar lo que yo puedo cobrar si uso todos estos programas, ¿verdad? Porque cada uno de estos programas cuesta dinero. Entonces, entre más pagos tenga que hacer, más caro es mi labor. Entonces, creo que uh, no es, no es correcto que los que, ¿cómo se llama? Que los fabricantes restrinjan toda la información, pero tienen razón, porque ellos son los que pagan por todo esto. Entonces, es entendible lo que hacen, pero igual, de cualquier manera, en Internet pueden encontrar ahí información, si tal vez les pueda ser útil. Y de esa manera puedan armar los motores de la manera correcta. Y generalmente, si ustedes encuentran una información, imprímanla, sáquenla, y si no la pueden imprimir, usen un cuaderno, escriban todo. Si no pueden imprimirla, son su teléfono, escriban todo, a pie, de cabeza, todo, para que de esa manera les quede copiada a ustedes directamente y no tengan que estar buscando otra vez. Y claro, ¿verdad? Pónganlo en un lugar donde sus manos sucias no lo vayan a arruinar, ¿verdad? O mantengan sus manos limpias cuando lo usen, porque el simple hecho de ser mecánico se pone la mano donde quiera, pero traten la manera de mantenerlo limpio, dado que la información es muy útil cuando está limpia, ¿verdad? Ya cuando se ensucia y ya no se puede leer, de nada sirve. Ok, veamos. Allow me Mahmoud, that's what it is. I have a 2015. I have a Cascadia 2015 with 820,000 miles. It has been very reliable so far. Yeah, and I know a lot of people then have these reliable trucks. I mean, what I can say, I mean, like some people have problems with them. Some people don't. Like as long as you don't have engine transmission issues, I think it's reliable, right? You may have wiring and stuff like that. That's completely normal. Some wear and tear, brakes and all that. But as long as the engine doesn't break somewhere in New Jersey and you live in Oregon or California, that's reliable, I would say. Let's see. Elvin Joel, Ruti, Oscos, saludos de Perú. Una consulta. Tengo un problema con cascada de 13. Problemas con baja presión de turbo y se hizo mantenimiento, pero está igual. Hace 2 años se anuló el AdBlue, o sea, el DEF. Ok. Es consulta de baja presión de turbo. Ok, dice low air pressure, low manifold pressure. Ok, para hacer que ese motor trabaje bien, si está agujerado el filtro, porque la reparación de ese problema varía, eliminado o no eliminado. Cuando están así, varían las reparaciones. Si ya está eliminado, pero está eliminado el filtro, está agujerado, entonces el problema es de que el sistema no se está autolimpiando. El EGR cooler y los componentes, ¿verdad?, no están siendo regenerados, se ensucian con el tiempo, y esto va a causar esa clase de problema, porque hay demasiada obstrucción, demasiado carbón, y no deja pasar el flujo necesario. Entonces, en este caso, como ya está eliminado, lo único que se puede hacer aquí es programarlo, Elvis. La programación para este va a ser que se tiene que, ya está programado lo que es el ACM, la ACM, entonces se tiene que eliminar la lógica del sensor de el EGR, Delta Pressure Sensor. Se debe eliminar el sensor del Delta Pressure Sensor y se debe eliminar el actuador del EGR. Cuando este se elimina, se debe dejar cerrado. Con eso se va a eliminar la lógica de la alta presión y la baja presión del manifold, porque se va a quedar con simplemente el turbo. Si tienen el programa de hacerlo, pues el programa DDL para hacerlo solo es pura programación, no ocupan nada más, no se ocupan passwords, no se ocupan ninguna clase de programación especial, solamente con el programa de Detroit. Pero tiene que ser el programa de Detroit que es capaz de conectarse a lo que es módulos, programación de módulos. Porque generalmente si ustedes tienen el programa de Detroit básico, no pueden manipular ninguno de los parámetros de la computadora del motor. Así que lo más básico es eso, para poder eliminar ese problema, dado de que si está completamente eliminado, ¿verdad? Todo el sistema está eliminado, se tiene que eliminar también lo que es la lógica y la válvula IR. Y de esa manera ese problema se va a ir. Pero la válvula IR se debe mantener cerrada, ya sea que la solden, que la tapen y todo, o la cierren. Se me hace de que esta válvula IR se cierra, que es de 13, pero no sé el año. Pero creo que estos se cierran para adelante, para atrás. No, para adelante creo que se cierran. Pero ustedes la pueden ver ahí para donde se cierran. Cierran para adelante. No estoy completamente seguro. Va en la parte de atrás del manifold. Bueno, dependiendo del año que sea el DD13. Puede ir a un lado del manifold. Y así es como van a poder resolver ese problema. Así que algunas cosas van a hacer mucho gasto y no se va a resolver, pero es porque simplemente la computadora, la lógica de la computadora todavía está pensando de que el sistema IR tiene el flujo hacia el IR, pero no es lo correcto, y aparte de eso hay una gran cantidad de pérdida de back pressure, de presión en lo que es el DPF, que ya no existe. Entonces la computadora empieza a pensar, hey, ¿qué está pasando aquí, verdad? Hay que bajar la presión porque está muy alta o está muy baja. Entonces es un detalle, es una lógica bastante grande. Ok, sigamos a la siguiente pregunta. Eli G or Yaji, I mean, I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. Which automatic transmission prefer for international with Cummins 2020 and up? I mean, I think the only transmission that you can buy is the Endurance transmission, but 13-speed transmissions are good. 18-speed transmission as well, Endurance transmission, they're good. 12-speed, I think that's the common one, that's the most basic one, most not reliable one, but it's okay. I mean, you can buy it. I think there is no when it comes to Cummins, there is just one option of automatic transmissions, depending on the application, depending on the engine. So you can buy, let's say you buy international, but you can buy the efficient or the economical Cummins. So this is going to be paired automatically with a 12-speed transmission. That's the way to go. But if you have the performance Cummins, which is going to be the 500, 565, you might have a 13 or 18 speed transmission. I think 18 speed will be the one. 13 speed probably has not something that is longer in production, but yes, the 18 speed will be the one that you want to have on that one, right? Because it's going to be the most powerful Cummins, is going to need to have a bigger transmission. So that is the case with automatic transmission. So, but yeah, I mean, again, there is no other transmission. I think there is just those two transmission for heavy haulers. So I hope this helps. Ariel Melendres said thank you, love your videos. Mouse Tapa Bashir Says is the 2006 Volvo with Cummins IL6 good? Same thing. With 100,000 miles. Good. And you say pre-emissions and say is it the Cummins good, not the PF pre-emission with 800,000 miles. Yeah, those Cummins are pretty good. Those are pretty basic Cummins. EGR valve, I think that's the only thing that they have, and a turbo actuator, a turbo, a bipod control turbo actuator. Yeah, that's what it is. They're reliable. Yeah, I don't remember seeing that many issues with those, like serious issues with those. Crankshaft, injector problems, and stuff like that. That's completely normal after many years of use. So I think, yeah, I mean, like if that those older engines are more reliable than new ones, and the reason why they're more reliable is because they don't have that many electronics. So the newer engines are not reliable because of the electronics. Um, so yeah, that wouldn't be a bad choice if you want to buy um, older Cummins. I think that would be okay, especially if you don't live in an area where emissions are required. Okay, jogging life, so emission is good. Yes, is most of our shit says thumbs up. Arch War Rich. I'm sorry for my pronunciation of the names. Exhaust leak, the manifold freeze, and cylinder 6 out, so they replace the slip joint. Huh, that's interesting. Probably the bolts are broken, or sometimes a long time ago, I had these Detroit 360s, and it had problems like that, like the exhaust manifold was leaking. Um, After so many days of working, many times the truck came back because they were leaking. The surface of the exhaust manifold wasn't even. The whole manifold was not exactly the way it's supposed to be. So whenever you had to sit the manifold there, it will not be straight, it will be kind of crooked. And eventually it will start leaking because it's not completely sealed. um, So might be the case, or simply the surface of the head is not even. Um, because also another thing is like a bolts stretching or bolts breaking. Um, not enough torque on the bolts. Probably I would say then if you have your exhaust manifold gasket replaced and the whole thing, just double check the torque on these bolts. It gotta be somewhere around like 45, 40, 45, 50 pounds. That's gonna be kind of like the torque for these exhaust manifold bolts. So just double check that, and that might be another way to fix the problem. But just that's something that you need to do manually. Hopefully that will help you. Yeah, but I think that might be the case. Um, let's see what other thing I can it can come to my mind about that exhaust leak. Yeah, just the bolts, the exhaust surface being even, or there is a small groove, crack or something on the cylinder head, or you already replaced the actual piece of the exhaust manifold, or the cylinder head has a small leak somewhere. I mean, crack somewhere, then it's leaking the air, the exhaust somewhere. It might be the case, but see what you can do with it. I mean, like it's pretty hard to repair. Think about it if I don't see it, but we need to take it apart, see how everything is, how it looks like, and then try to think what will be the issue. But yeah, my email, you can send me pictures and everything, and we can go through it together if you want to. All right, well, last what should I say? Last time they replaced. Oh, that's the same. Oh, that's the same. Let's see. Alpha, my question. If deleting the F system have bad consequences for your truck, I joined in later to your videos with trucks more Freightliner with the 15 Coronado, Volvo automatic transmission. I think Coronado is gonna be the most reliable Alpha. Um, and delivering your truck doesn't make your truck more reliable, but of course, emission systems are a big factor of reliable components. So if you eliminate the emission system, is going to make the truck reliable, right? Because you don't have emission system, but the engine and the other components is still the same problems. So it's not gonna improve the time of life of the engine, but it's going to make the truck stop less at the shop, so you won't have problems because of the emission system. Um, and yeah, I think Coronado will be the best. Volvo aromatic is good and everything. Cascadia D15, they're good too. I mean, Cascadia, Coronado will be the most reliable. This electronics, remember. Coronado uses the Century class cabin, and the Century class doesn't have electronics. The cabin doesn't have electronics at all. It only have engine, transmission, and if you have automatic transmission, right? CPC and what we call emission computer. So other than that, there is no ABS as well. Other than that, you don't have any other computer. So that's good. That is the most reliable you can get. I mean, manual transmission, of course, more reliable. Automatic transmission, okay, it's okay. So as I said before. So let's see. Riding dirty. My transmission is grinding fifth gear when slowing down, but speed up it is working fine. What can this problem be? Mainly when the engine brakes is on. I just had the head replaced, the gasket, but it seems like it is running hot and hot water. Um, temperature, hot temperature. Cummins X15. Any suggestion runs on 210, 215, 720,000 miles. Um, okay, okay. Talking about the transmission, the engine and transmission issues. Okay, fifth gear. You have 10 speed, 13 speed, 18 speed transmission. What kind of transmission you have? That would be good. So I'll wait for the answer for that. And yeah, 210 to 215. I think if it stays there all the time, that's not normal. If your Cummins engine uh, runs like when you're driving, regardless on the inclination, flat surface, or whatever, you are running on 210 to 15 all the time and doesn't go lower than that, there is something wrong with your truck. So you better look at it. Okay, so just check it out before you do any major uh, repairs. I cannot tell you what else. Cummins X15, they have the problems. If it's deleted specifically, then they might have the problems with the cylinder heads having cracks. Um, and sometimes when if you replace the cylinder head, I mean, take the cylinder head out from the truck and send it to a machine shop, bring it back and put it on, doesn't fix the problem because you're still using your same cylinder head and had a problem. So sometimes you need to replace the cylinder head entirely for another one. So might be the case. Just check on that. I mean, especially if you're getting pressure. So one thing it is temperature, another thing is the pressure. If you are getting pressure and it's kind of like like over pressurizing the system, yeah, might be the case. Uh, okay. So I see you have a 13 speed ultra shift, which is automatic. Um, okay. He only grinds when you're going up. Looking for when you're slowing down. Okay. Um, look. The only thing I can say is like you have problems with your transmission internally. It's not normal for the transmission to grind. Um, I'm not sure if the 13-speed transmission have the regular gears set up as the conventional manual transmission. I don't know the pattern of the gears for the 13-speed ultra shift because who cares, right? It's automatic. But if it's the same as the manual transmission, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you are coming back and then 6. Okay, so basically, yes, it's possibly a synchronizer on the high range thing is failing, but most likely when you're removing, you are getting the gear off. Basically, this when you are when you have a 13-speed transmission and when you are on fifth gear and you are switching to fourth, this is dropping the range selector to fourth, and that is going to grind. So most likely that synchronized sliding clutch on the back of the transmission might be having issues. But not until you remove the transmission you will be able to see it. Um, I would say then the first thing you can do is just like check the oil, get a small sample of oil and see if you have metal debris on it. And if you do, yeah, transmission is going out. Just get to fix it. Just because they're aromatic doesn't mean that they don't have issues. So there might be some kind of problems with that synchronizer there. So that would be my best guess on that. So hopefully that is gonna be helpful for you. And yeah, I think that's the best option. I mean, opinion I can have for that. Aromatic transmission, they have limitations on how to be checked, and the only way to do it is by dropping them and open them. So uh, I wish there was a way how to see internally on the transmission, but there is not. Okay, I'll move to the next question. Throwing live say, hey Francisco, I heard that the EPA 27 systems one box will be sealed unit and it's not serviceable. Have you seen this? Have you seen them? No, I have seen the 2025 schedules, but still they use the same unit as the 2021s, 2022s. But I believe what you're saying. Manufacturers are not looking for service anymore. Manufacturers are looking for a strict replacement. Just the same way I heard, and they planning to sell you the transmission like standalone transmission, the whole transmission, to you instead of selling the parts for the transmission. Because of course, it's more money to sell a complete unit than selling individual pieces because they can sell the transmission for $20,000 and that's it. I mean, even though just one sensor fell, but hey, there is no part. Just buy the transmission, and they can make the $20,000 immediately, even though the truck has only 500,000 miles. So they are going to make more money, and they can rebuild the same transmission, put the sensor that is broken, and sell it back to you. That is a dirty trick that these manufacturers are doing. Of course, and that was saying actually says then you cannot buy a used transmission, right? You can buy a transmission program, or hacking, like hacking the transmission, trying to see how to replace the component, aftermarket support, selling components. So there is gonna be a way how to repair them. But yeah, there is no sealed component that cannot be opened, right, and fixed, especially mechanical components. I'm worried about it, but I am not worried at all. When it comes to electronic components, no way you can fix them just like that. But when it comes to mechanical components, yes, there is a way how to fix them. You can use a grinder, cut that thing up and open it, and then do some kind of like magic to weld it back together, and you will be able to fix whatever thing needs to be fixed, right? If you have another truck is broken, and truck and you need the DPF filters, you can just remove them from the truck and put them on this, or if you want to know how it's like, you can open and experiment with it and see how it's like. But yeah, I believe it. I heard something about it, but I wasn't sure if that was true. But now that you mention it, probably yes, it is true. We'll see. I mean, 2027 EPA is not too far from now. I think it's gonna be GSG 17 or whatever they wanna call it, which is the same crap, right? So that EPA basically is going to be uh, a more restricted emission system than it is now. So I don't think it's gonna be better. So of course, the new teams are going to have new problems. But let's see. So far, no 2026 yet, and I think that 2026. Some of these 2026 are the first they are going to start having the EPA 27. I mean the GSG 27s. Since the 2025s are still on the GSG 21 platform. Let's see what happens. Okay, all right. One second. I email. Thank you. Right, this is okay. I just have some. Oh yeah, I just read that about the cylinder having all the problems. All right, so I think I can call it a day. Then I can just finish this video. Well, I mean, it was good. I mean, you guys understanding. It is not about it is not about the specific truck. It is about the equipment of the truck. So you can still buy a reliable truck buying a brand that is known to be not reliable, and and you can buy a truck that is reliable and make it even more reliable by buying the specific setups. So just remember that you want a good truck, um, buy avoid indoor manufacturers, PACCAR, Freightliner, and Alliance, Detroit. Avoid those. Just go back to the basics: Meritor, Eaton. The other one will be Spicer. So these manufacturers are known to be reliable. Manual transmissions, more reliable. Basic engines, Cummins and Detroit, you cannot go around. So just stay away from all these components, and you will be able to have a good truck. Even though then you can buy an international, right, a crappy ass international, and still you're gonna have a reliable truck. I mean, still the chassis is kind of expensive to maintain, but hey, I mean, like, it's better than Navistar engine, right? And you can buy a Freightliner. I mean, you can buy a Volvo, right? If you can buy a Volvo engine, transmission is going to be a most reliable truck you can buy. Or you can buy a Peterbilt with a Cummins and a manual transmissions and it's Meritor differentials, and you want to have a very, very sweet truck. So big differentials, 342s, 308s, depending on the application, and yeah, you want to have good trucks. I mean, like, depending what you choose is what gonna make this truck very reliable or very unreliable. So it is basically your homework to decide what you want to buy, and of course checking the truck. I mean, like, having a mechanic checking it out, it doesn't hurt your pocket that much. Some dealers allow you to take the truck for a spring, or sometimes spend some time at the mechanic shop, anyone that you like, and they will check the truck and see if they like it. They will um, leave it as is, like, do something. So, but anyway, there's many ways to do things, but as it is, it's all I have to talk about on video about Detroit, PACCAR, Navistars, Volvos. Basically they're all gonna have problems, but some of them are gonna have more problems. But there is no thing that you wanna have a truck anymore. 1 million miles, no problems. We say goodbye to that. All right, right. In Diri says gracias. And with this, I say bye to you guys. I hope you like the video. And next video, I hope then is going to be a different topic. As always, I will see if I can make you choose what is the topic for the live video. Depending on what you want me to talk, that's what I'm going to do. If not, I can select it myself and just start talking about it. So thank you for watching, and hope to see you soon. If you wanna come to the shop, just Google me. I'm here. Thank you for watching, and it's time for me to go. Bye.